All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Revan Trading Channel. Hope you all are staying safe out there as always. Today we're looking at Bitcoin on the 10-day time frame and a few others. We're also going to look at the new optimizing tool that is almost done. This tool is going to be a game changer for anyone running strategies or bots. It can basically run hundreds of thousands of iterations and even millions of iterations in a matter of minutes. If you get up into the millions, it might take you an hour or two. But it is going to be just crazy what it can do. So I'm going to look at that at the very end of the video and make a bit of an announcement around that. But let's jump into Bitcoin on the 10-day time frame here. We swept and closed below the closing lows from back in January, but definitely did not close below that wick low. I guess we did wick a little bit lower. We're bouncing nicely off of this dotted support band here on the 10-day time frame. I mentioned that in the last video. Probably see a bounce, and we are. We have not broken the support 1 band, however, and I imagine we'll play in this range just a little bit. If Bitcoin is going to be strong from here, I would like to see it close at least above, what would that be, about $68,000. And then our next target would be about $76,000 from there. At least on the 10-day time frame. We can jump over here to the monthly. And the good news on the monthly time frame is we are maintaining above support 1 on the monthly. If we can close above there, I would definitely expect to see a move up towards $85,000. If we close above $85,000 in the next couple months, then that is my sign that we are just going to have a massive push to the upside and at least test all-time highs pretty soon after that. I expect this will happen over the next few months, and we can see here we have about 2 to 3 months. We actually have about 3 to 4 months before this consolidation should be over time-wise. So just moving sideways here. Listen, even if we get another closure below this support 1 band, it would not be game over. It would just probably mean a push down to 55K area. And I would likely I would love to see a close above that over the next few months, whether it's right above or far above, and that will, in my opinion, that will just be a lot of strength and bulls regaining momentum. So, do have a lot of, I guess, more positive things going on, though it probably will end up being some more boring sideways. This run that happened today, let's look at the daily. I don't expect it to just run away from here. On CME, on Bitcoin on the 1 day, we haven't even broken the midline, though we did on excuse me, we did on the index chart. We closed above that midline and had to push up to this dotted resistance band, what I call it R0 right there. Didn't even quite test it. So, and we had a pretty, looking like a pretty big pullback on the day. So likely, I do expect the day to at least turn around and test back into 64K area. Maybe even lower if we can maintain above the midline here on the index, and especially if we can close above the midline on CME. That's when I really expect daily strength to come in there. But, as far as I'm seeing here, we very well could range a bit on the daily time frame and even push lower. Maybe this will be a fake out on the index chart. I do like looking at CME a bit better on the daily time frame, but we have, and also on our strategy, we have now 3 re-entries here. So if it does push lower, these are all short entries. We're gonna have some nice trades made off of this. So if you are thinking about shorting, here is not the worst place ever. Maybe if you're just looking at a daily time frame, it's not the worst place ever. However, it's much better if the initial close below the midline is much better place to make a trade above or below that midline there, so or close to these dotted resistance and support bands. All right, this is the part of the video I am most excited about. This is the Revan Ribbons Optimizer. I should just say the Revan Optimizer because it's for the ribbons and the bands. Right now I'm running it on the ribbons. Both will be available probably at the same time. Maybe the bands will come first, then the ribbons, but it'll be pretty close because I've actually gotten them both set up pretty well. This will be available in the next day or two if you are an OG or a Master Builder member. So watch out for the announcement coming soon, or just DM me if you're interested in getting in the next couple days, and I will go ahead and get your access set up. Now, this is not necessarily this is not a free service because it uses a bunch of CPUs in order to run all these optimizations, and so it will be very reasonably priced for what it does. For sure, like incredibly priced in my opinion, but again, it does cost a little bit. You'll all that information will be available. All right, let's go ahead and optimize just the master support and resistance main bands right there. I'm going to take off KMA because I don't really like that, even though it's an option. It almost never is very useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up our equity curve here. I'm going to put our test range to, let's just go back to 2016. That's generally when I like to start testing Bitcoin, more on a daily time frame or on any time frame. And you can see the equity curve is not so bad. So this is the general default settings. Let's go ahead and hit optimize. And while I run the optimizer, I'll explain a few things. Again, so this is running off of a bunch of CPUs. It takes a while to warm up, so it's usually actually a minute. Sometimes it takes longer to warm up than it does to actually give you the results. There's only one optimization. Well, there's really kind of two, but right now it's just doing a full grid sweep, so running literally every possible combo. And what that means is the more that you add to this window up here, this will exponentially increase because it's doing every single different combo possible. I will have a much smarter way, and actually I already have Smart Optimize up here, though it still needs a bit of work because sometimes it can skip some results that you might find useful. But there will be several different types of optimization coming soon. Right now, like I said, it's a full grid sweep. And I do find that generally when I optimize, personally, I just optimize one setting at a time. Again, this can do about 4 settings at a time pretty fast. That's generally, if you don't want to consume a ton of tokens, that's generally the best way to do it. So just run a section at a time, and depending on the order that you do it, you'll get different results. But you can always come back and rerun the same test later if you change some of these other results or these other settings down here. So I definitely like to throw on some filters, and you'll be able to throw on a few different filters that are like the RWP, even the BBWP, and a few others you can throw on as a filter. This is absolutely taking a long time to warm up, and actually it's actually populating some results. It's just not showing me yet, so I need to work on this. The readout here. I forgot to mention earlier in this video, Agent Smith just put out a video on something he's been working on. Y'all should check it out because it's very, very cool. It's actually an optimizer that should integrate more with TradingView and Pine, and it actually could be a very useful tool to combine with this because it will give you a bit more of a edge on if your settings are likely to be on a shelf, which means or a cliff, I guess, which means right on the edge of going bad or safely in a sweet spot. Again, because this optimizer just looks for the best results. It doesn't really have the capability to do that. Now there's some ways to kind of get around it, and maybe I can ask him to help integrate something with what he's working on to this, so it could kind of help as well. But anyway, it's just a very useful tool. I just saw him post a video about it today. I'll put the link in the description below, but you all should check it out. And all right, we're about to jump to where it shows a few results here. It's been about little over 2.5 minutes, and you can see it just jumped there. So warming up definitely takes the longest. Still, it's really fast. It said 17 seconds. That's something I need to work on. But for I guess 11,000 for 11,000 combos, not super shabby. And you can go ahead and hit apply. I think that should work while we're doing that. Yeah. So it's going to go ahead and apply the top result to our equity curve. It'll take a few seconds. So it applied the settings over here, and now it's running the back tester for our visual. And yeah, it looks like we have a few different combos. Actually, a few. Yeah, we have. This is super helpful because we have a few different combos that have lower net P&L, but a little bit, and lower drawdown. But it must be because it's also looking at true drawdown, and it's also looking at the equity curve smoothness. So this one was rated higher because it had a better general slow and steady move to the upside. So even just optimizing 2 of these settings already got a much smoother equity curve. If we work a little bit longer on this, another 10 to maybe even an hour, you can get some pretty incredible results. You can try a bunch of different options here too, and just kind of see what the equity curve looks like. So anyway, this tool will be available within the next 2 days. So excited. Keep an eye out for it, and I will see you guys in the next video.